So how do I find the hot buttons of my client without acting like an interrogator and acting like that? A lot of times that happens, and the people sit down. So tell me, what's your name? Where do you live? How old are you? How long have you been here? Why did you come here? All of a sudden, someone feels, when you start feeling like when your prospect is on defense, you got a rough time. Okay, so don't put them there. So how do you find their hot buttons? Because they will lie. The first thing that a prospect says to you when they say, this is what I really need, it's always wrong. You never know. You got to find out the why. And how you find out this why without looking like an interrogator, it's just a beautiful little thing. Look at them square in the eyes like I'm doing to you. So I got it. And instead of just asking the question, set it up first. So, for instance, you want your child to clean their room. You don't just say clean your room. You got to get their attention first, So you got to say, Sophie, Matthew. Now they're looking at you square in the eye. Clean your room. And you're there. So you always have to set up a question. Never just answer a question automatically, and never just ask a question automatically without setting it up. So when someone tells you what they need and what their problem is, you say, yeah, that makes sense. But let me ask you this. That little "but let me ask you this," that gets their attention. But let me ask you this. It's uncommon for someone to want that. Is there a specific reason? What's going on right now? Just that change in tonality makes somebody feel like you're on their side, like you're really concerned. It's best if you are really concerned and you're really worried. And if they say why, and then they go to that why, and you say, that makes sense. Always agree. When someone answers your question to you, you nod and always agree. That makes sense. It's almost like you're overcoming an objection. Any answer, you're just overcoming an objection. I got it. Yeah, that makes sense. But let me ask. I gotta ask. Was there something specific that happened to cause this? And if it's not, why have you not done this already? What's going on? And you ask it that way, and you find out their deep things. And then once you have that, as far as the hot buttons go, it comes when you ask the close. Okay, and you're going to have the close. So we have a system that we taught that you'll learn later in the program, but it's the PACK system, position, answer, close. So anytime somebody asks you a question, you've earned the right to close. And these closes are basically trial closes. That makes sense? Sound good? Are you with me? We're on the same page? Got it? Okay, we're all together. Boom. So it's something we can move forward with. Those are all closes. So if someone says, how much does something cost? And you want to find out, there are hot buttons here, and so you ask certain questions of, they ask you, how much does it cost? It's $500. Is that more or less than you expected it to cost? And right there, they'll say, it's about the same. And so what's stopping you from moving along? You want to get to that point where you can say, is there any reason you could think of that you wouldn't get started today? Is there any reason you could think of that you wouldn't get started today? And that answer to that question is your hot button. But you can't just get there right away. You got to ask the why questions, set up the why questions, and ultimately you'll wind up at the end there when you say, okay, can you think of any reasons why we shouldn't get started? There's your hot button question without feeling like an interrogator. Try it. It works like magic.